people with OCD may have various different sorts of obsessions, and the fear of contamination is one of the main ones, but also other obsessions may be around order, accounting.
So grateful that throughout all this we've got a little bit of a garden, we can come out, get some sun. And it is such a nice day here in London. In this little patch of garden, you can almost not tell there's a crisis raging. How's it going, guys? It has been a while. It has been a good while since I've been here speaking to you in a vlog right here on my YouTube channel. You know, there's a lot going on in the world right now. There is a lot going on with this virus, the lockdowns happening in various different places. Here in the UK right now, we're basically at the start of a lockdown. Not confirmed lockdown, but basically everybody's staying at home as it should be. And to be absolutely honest with you, the last few weeks, guys, I have struggled with things to say. I've kind of felt like I've lost my voice a little bit. I don't do well in health stuff, right? I have anxiety around health stuff. That is the truth. And over the last few weeks, I kind of felt like I had nothing to add to this conversation, and also that talking about other things would have been a bit lost and also seem a bit disrespectful even to the situation, because obviously a lot of people are suffering right now. So I have been quiet, but I'm back. I'm here. I want to talk to you guys. I want to keep up this conversation because I really, really enjoy the interaction I have with you guys every single week right here on my YouTube channel. It means so much to me. And I didn't really know what to say for a while, but I put on Instagram a bit of a call out to say if anybody could help me with ideas of things to talk about. And then one of my followers, who is a regular and who I talk to on Instagram a lot, he gave me this great idea that I should speak to a lot of my friends in Scotland and see how they are getting on with this situation. How are they dealing with isolation, self-isolation, with social distancing during this crisis? I can't actually say the word of the virus because YouTube will probably ban this video, right? It is a taboo word on YouTube, right? But anyway, how are my friends in Scotland dealing with this situation? Now, obviously, I can't go there and meet them all and talk about it face to face. So I'm doing what everybody else is doing right now in the world, and we're doing kind of like these conference calls online where I get to speak to everybody that way. So I have done a number of video chats with a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that you will have seen on my channel over the last few years, people that you know as well, people who are in their own right are really, really, really massive online. And a lot of my friends who will be able to tell you what things are like in their world, whether it's people on the front line of this, people who are helping others. I really want to share their stories. So that's what today's video is, right? Thank you very much for watching. Today's video is Scottish people reacting to this crisis, what's going on in Scotland right now. Some of these will have been on Instagram as live chats before now, so make sure you're following me on Instagram if you want to follow along with these live chats as they appear, but not all of them. Some of them I have done on kind of Zoom chats as well. But anyway, I just want to say it's great to have you all here. Thank you and welcome. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. We can continue this discussion somehow. I've got a few other ideas for videos I'm going to carry forward in the next few weeks while we're doing this self-isolation, social distancing thing. All right, we'll get through this together. But anyway, I want to speak about some of my friends in Scotland. I'm going to speak with them right here on camera. So let's go, let's meet them, let's talk to them. That is so weird. Scan Academy. There is a Scan Academy logo. Is John's face around about it somehow. I don't know how you've done this on Zoom, but it looks a bit weird. Anyway, that is the Scan Academy logo right there. It's pretty cool.
Every pound of business I had scheduled for this year has been cancelled. All my contracts, all my events, all my speeches, trans all cancelled. I've got a mum who's a cleaner in a supermarket, two wee brothers who are in 0-hour contracts in retail. Partner delivers emergency prescriptions to pensioners that can't get out. And so, do you know what? Rather than moping and worrying and panicking and trying to figure out how to repurpose my business money or whatever, I just thought, how do we organise to help those most vulnerable? To help 76-year-old Eddie or Anne, who's got the heart condition, Annie, who's got a house of 10 people and figuring out how to feed people and support.
Yeah.
That's who really need it. There's a class. Those people are used to having chaos and living on 90 quid a week that the rest of the world has turned out recognising they can't cope with straight away, which is understandable. I want to try and be there for them because everybody deserves a bit of support, a bit of love, the right to not panic over panic buying the right to access some food. Pivoted Scran, repurposed the whole organisation in less than 24 hours.
That's mad.
I had an idea Thursday morning. By Friday, we were delivering over 250 meals through partnerships to the most vulnerable pensioners, families, people in kind of poor areas with underlying conditions. It was a healthy, free meal, which they heat up at home, which is a hot meal, so stovies, mincing potatoes, mincing potatoes, etc. And it's just instinct. And we're growing. We're trying to get the community work together to wake up. And Scotland's just hit today the death toll of 10 people across our country. That's not to scare people, but just from my layman's view, I feel that the community sector, local people, the voluntary sector, we are the fifth emergency service. We're the people that have the neighbours, that know the people, who can build the connections, who can help the government, who can help infrastructure, who help prevent people going into a coffin or a hospital in NHS. And if that's just a bit of love, asking how they're doing. Every day we phone our young people and just see how they are, because we don't know what their home lives are like.
How many meals are you hoping to cook this week? To how many people? And what do you need in order to achieve that?
Delivered about 200 meals on Friday. So what we did was we're looking to deliver 3 times per week. We're looking to do deliveries on a Monday, deliveries on Wednesday, deliveries on a Friday. By grouping chunks of meals together for delivery, we are minimising contact, maximising distancing. It also makes it easier for supply chain in my kitchen and getting my chefs in our kitchens cooking. So we did 250 on Friday. According to our chefs, our numbers are looking like we could probably produce at capacity with what we've got at the minute around 1,750 meals per week. Roughly £10 enables us to feed a hot meal to a pensioner every day of the week.
What help have you had so far? Has it been donations from the public, or has it been government funding, or has it been organisations helping you out?
So in terms of this campaign, there's been no government money as yet, but we know there's funds opening and becoming available. We've just received a chunk of donation from a fantastic trust who it is the single quickest, most values-led donation I've experienced in my entire campaigning social enterprise career. We've had hundreds and hundreds of pounds donated from small guest house in Edinburgh to donations from people in Australia, to social care workers, to family members. People have been tremendous, and that's the lifeblood of this project at the minute. So that's really needed. We're continuing to need donations, but a really important thing to say is the general public and the food and hospitality industry have been amazing. We have got empty kitchens and restaurants offering to make us food. We've had people at the Edinburgh Company buying food off their stock lists and sending it to us. We've got chefs like Barry Bryson offering to cook us meals. Spitaki Restaurant in Edinburgh offering to send us trays of made food already. Art Fee have just given us a whole bunch of vegetables. We're talking to people like Toby's Carvery, Asda, Morrison's, Tesco, TK Maxx, who are dropping stuff off. They've all been phenomenal.
I think what we just saw from the government announcing today, that this is a start of 12 weeks of isolation for vulnerable people in Edinburgh, and not just Edinburgh, the whole UK, and starting today. So this is like the very beginning of a long journey for you guys. And I think it's just amazing what you're doing. Put your own health at risk to kind of help these people that won't be able to get out. They can't leave their front door to get food. They're going to need help from people like yourselves. So it's amazing. And I hope anybody watching can, if they can donate, if they can help out in any way, there's going to be a link down below to where you can find your website, Scran Academy, and where they can potentially help out if they'd like to help people who are literally isolated from the world for lots of different reasons during this crisis.
We know that loneliness, mental health, over-reliance on negative people in their life goes up. So we're just trying to, sometimes the hot meal can reduce stress. It can make money a bit easier. That pensioner doesn't have to worry about trying to go to the shops to find an empty shelf and be at risk of contracting something. So yeah, scranacademy.com. We're going to have some GoFundMe pages or something like that set up very, very soon.
Thank you, John. Hope you guys stay safe and keep fighting the good fight. You're doing a lot of good out there to people who can't get out the door and can't get food. So amazing. Hopefully everybody can help you out with your mission, and I'll definitely keep everybody up to date and in touch. Going to John's Instagram, you'll see I'm daily out there battling this virus one one household at a time. All right, cheers, John. I'll speak to you later on.
Thank
I'm
you.
not actually going. Hey, how's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
Not bad, man. How are you?
Oh, I mean, I would say brilliant, but it's kind of weird. I'd feel weird. It's a very weird situation we've got.
It is weird, isn't it? It's so bizarre that like there's like it was a nice sunny day today and we can't go out. It's
Exactly.
it's
Although
insane.
some people have been. Did you see Largs? Largs was filled today.
Absolutely mental, man. These people like they want. I think they want to go out and catch the last of the days before it actually gets properly locked down. But it's just absolutely crazy. I mean,
Oh,
I'm actually scared to go out. Like I don't here. I'm in London at the moment, and I don't want to go out. I don't want to catch this thing. So
yeah. I mean,
um,
London's worse than up here anyway, for sure, right now. But
yeah,
it's gonna hit everywhere. It's just gonna. There's no escaping it, you know.
yeah. It's the thing. Like myself and you, we both like to travel a lot as well. So now, now we can't. We're stuck.
I know.
Are you in Glasgow at the moment?
I'm in Glasgow at the moment. I actually was in Malaga, believe it or not. I was in
Right.
Malaga a week and a half ago. Just as like I went there for 5 days. The first day I got there, it was just there was the odd person with a mask when we were going on the flight. I was on just looking at everybody like, I mean, it's going to bound to hit us
Yeah.
maybe in a couple of months. After that 5 days, it just suddenly got worse and worse. Spain started recording more and more, and
Yeah.
the day that I arrived back home was fine, everything was fine, but then the next day all the kind of flights were cancelled.
Yeah.
Jet2 had turned flights around, and so yeah, it was kind of weird, but
You made it home just in time.
no symptoms, I'm okay.
You're all good. What's the streets of Glasgow like right now?
Oh, dead. They're
Yeah.
dead. The bars and everything are closed. Everything's closed. I think that I heard a rumour that there's been some bars that have been keeping open, and
Yeah.
I think SNP government are trying to crack down on them, and then there's going to be penalties and fines and stuff like that for that. But for me, I'm just not enjoying it, but I'm embracing it. You know what I mean? Like there's no
Yeah.
way of fighting it other than just going through the emotions and just doing it. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like for me, anxiety has always been a problem for me, and I think being locked in, this feeling of not being able to go out, is definitely quite hard for me. And there's probably a lot of other people out there. And I was kind of wanted to speak to you because I know you've been really amazing at helping people through tough times, especially like with a lot of different issues. So I really wanted to call you and see what you thought about all this and how you're coping with it and how you've been telling other people to cope with like the isolation thing, keeping healthy, keeping fit when this is going on as well is a big thing as well.
Yeah. So with regards to the isolation stuff, that's something I struggle with as well. I don't like being locked in. We're all animals. We like to be out in the wild. We like to be free, and this is just to some extent though we're kind of used to it with having Scottish winters.
Yeah.
And during the winter time we are kind of isolated a lot, but it does get me depressed. So I get the seasonal depression because of that. So this is like an extended version of that, and then a little bit worse because there's these sunny days where you just want to go to the park and maybe crack open a beer with your friends, chilling. Especially when barbecue season comes, everybody's going to want to socialize, and it's the thing that's really annoying me is like 2020 had such big plans for 2020, and
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to seize this year. This is going to be my year, big year, and it feels like we're just losing a year. I know
Exactly.
we're not because we're in our houses, but for a lot of people, it feels like we're almost losing a year, and that's frustrating.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
I said the same thing yesterday to somebody that like I remember Hogmanay at New Year's Eve and just saying this is going to be a good year. I can feel it, and like all of a sudden now the year seems like it's a goner.
Yeah, it feels like that. I mean, for me, I have this in my head. It feels like June, July, and I'm like, that's half of a year in quarantine, and that gets me so anxious, and so it's a depressing thought. But what I've been doing to combat that is, well, obviously the gyms have closed. I like to work out and go to the gym a lot, but I've actually I'm investing in a little home gym. So I've got my wee home gym. I don't know if you're able to see over here.
Yeah.
I've got my wee bench and stuff.
Nice.
I ordered what was it? I ordered one of those like squat racks.
Oh yeah.
So I've been watching all these videos of like how to get a budget home gym for under $500. And so I've been looking at all the kind of options on Amazon, but obviously Amazon, they've noticed that everybody's looking at that, so they've bumped the prices up. So all the things that were normally $100 to £150, something like that, they're all 300, 400.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's crazy. Yeah. So I've never had a more organized house. I've been cleaning under my stair. I think everybody's doing this.
Everybody's doing the same thing. And have you got plenty of toilet paper and all that kind of stuff?
Plenty toilet paper, all that. Yeah.
Good stuff.
And you?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely mad here in London, because I think here is a kind of epicenter for London. It's obviously something it's gonna spread further north as the days go on. But right here, even right in this borough where I live, there was like 80 cases by Thursday last week, just in this little small space. It's just going to go up from here, and all the shops have obviously been hit hard. It's just crazy. It's like we're living in a horror movie.
It is. And with regards to businesses, it's the kind of small businesses, the institutions, the local places, the local pubs and bars that are going to be, really struggling to keep their doors open.
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard, but I think the good thing is there are people out there who are able to keep positive and through the worst times. And what would you say to people? What the best ways to keep positive and healthy through this?
To try and limit your watching what's going on. So for me, it's so addictive. It's the hook is unreal from the TV. They've got us gripped. Everybody's gripped on it, and we're obviously wanting to watch it. And some part of us feels like we can engage in it because we feel like we've got power, but we don't. We feel like, oh, I'm doing the social distancing. I'm doing everything they're telling us, but there's never really any new information other than death and more deaths, and so watching that can sometimes make you feel a little bit worse. What's helped me is actually looking into it further in a positive way, looking at other diseases, other things that are worldwide, like malaria, the common flu, all the other kind of just studying stats. I'm quite an analytical person, so I've been looking at some of the stats, and believe it or not, 20,000, 30,000 people die of the regular flu every year. And, but this is more aggressive for sure. But just trying my best to keep healthy.
Yeah.
Watch things. I'm learning as much as I can. I've been learning about how to build little things, and I'm going to learn a little bit of cooking and stuff. I've actually got a little action plan booklet. I don't have it on me, but it's a little COVID-19 action plan. It's just it's a souvenir for this time as well. I want to have something that I can look back on and say, oh, that was my little COVID-19 action plan booklet, whatever.
No, it's a really sensible thing, because it's the type of thing where you could think about 10 years from now, you could look back and think, wow, like to get through that was pretty amazing. And if we can do it and come out of it even stronger, like all the better. So I think if you're somebody who needs a structure like that, and I definitely probably am, otherwise I might like kind of fly off the rails, and these type of things like keeping on a diary of it all and seeing how to stay positive is amazing. So
yeah, I think you can still buy books and stuff online, so I'm going to invest in a couple of books, maybe find some books from similar to that kind of period, maybe some find out and research some authors who were writing during the Spanish flu outbreak, or there's a lot of like Russian, some of the greatest Russian authors were from times of hardship, so maybe do a little bit of writing myself, journaling, documenting everything that's going on, and just realizing that it'll pass like everything.
Yeah. Did you have any kind of travel plans that were cancelled because of all this?
No, not cancelled, but I did, and I was going to be going back and forth to different places, and had the goal of hitting 20 countries this year for 2020, and because last year I had that same goal, but I never made it, and this year was going to be the year for doing that. But you know what? I think I can do it any year.
Exactly, next year.
When you're in your teens, a year is kind of like, I'm losing half a year. But when you're every year after 20, you're going a new way closer to 30 or 40.
Yeah.
You're thinking that actually gets you anxious. You're thinking, oh well, this was my year to like stay young. I'm not getting any younger. You're only getting progressively older, and for a lot of us, that's a huge anxiety for a lot of people. That's where a lot of people that I've talked to go through their depression, is like they feel like they're still that young person inside, but their time is flying by and they feel like they've not accomplished the things they wanted to achieve. And this is one of those things that's frustrating for a lot of people. Because they're like, well, this is killing my youth almost, you know?
I guess the only kind of big comfort in that sense is the fact that it's not just you, it's not just any one person. We're all kind of going through the same thing. Like, it'll be the kind of thing we can all get together in a year and say, fucking hell, that was some year.
There was some year, and through everything that's bad, there's obviously a pendulum that swings the other way. And I think the way the response and how the government is actually, it's a learning, it's an experiment, it's a social experiment that's beyond anything we've ever experienced. And it's bringing a little bit of stability to families. I hope one of the other dangers though is the kind of worrying about people who have already had suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And I really think about those people right now, because they are, you know, especially if they're alone and they usually have a support network.
Yeah, exactly.
That support network. I think there are places that you can actually look into online for that. There's people helping with that. I don't know where they are, but I might research them. But maybe people, if you're watching, then you can look into, if you are feeling depressed and lonely, like seek it out, because there are people out there that are helping with these things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on and speaking to me, Daniel. It's really good to see you again. It's been a while.
I know, but what about yourself? What's your action plan? What are you going to do?
I don't know, man. Like, it's one of those things that kind of took me so off guard and off. I wasn't expecting this. I thought that once we saw what was going on in China and in Italy, I thought, like, you know, it might be a difficult few months, but we'll get by it. But now, like, having an actual lockdown for what's looking like going to be 3 months from now, it's hard to think about. And I've kind of been knocked back by this and just don't really know. I'm not.
You grow their hair and you grow the beard.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be like Tom Hanks in that movie.
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson. Exactly. Yeah. But no, it's just one of those things. It's trying to speak to people, you know, keep in touch with friends, and that's what I think is just really cool. We can keep in touch on video chat and all that kind of stuff, and hoping the YouTube and kind of creator community in Scotland's all doing well. So
yeah, it's actually, and there's one positive that's come out of it is productivity. Like, I've never wanted to post so much because I just feel like the need to. It's like a necessity comes hard work and
for sure. And I've been really bad at this. I've not posted for weeks because I haven't really known what to say. But there's a lot of people out there who watch our videos and watch all of our content who are really, really needing it right now as well. Yeah. So that's definitely a driver for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like even though I know myself, I feel like I'm an irresponsible person at times. You do have a bit of responsibility, especially if you're putting out content and there's maybe a younger audience or people that live vicariously through you because you travel. There's people that watch you that can't travel for physical or financial reasons, and they genuinely see your videos as an escapism for themselves. That they live through you. And just like when we talked about like Top Gear and all that, when we used to watch that was like, I used to live and feel like I was with them, you know.
Exactly.
And watching some of your videos as well, I feel like I'm there as well. I seen the Blue Lagoon one. That's the first I saw with you.
Cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. When you reached out to me, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting in.
Well, I know it's really good to see you and catch up again. And like I said, your words I know have a big impact on people. So keep up the amazing work, and I look forward to seeing what you're saying next. It's like I say, it lifts people's spirits, lifts my spirits. So I wanted to have you on here and see any advice you could give for people who struggle when it's like this. So yeah, we're all in it together, eh?
We're all in it together, and hopefully at the end of it we can get a pint. And
exactly, looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it. It won't be too far away. You know, it won't be too far away. And but thanks for having me on, and it's always a pleasure. Loving the
man.
Background, by the way.
Yeah, got the Scotland flag up there, Iron Brew. I've got some whiskey up there you can't see, but yeah, it's coming on.
Nice.
All right, man. I'll speak to you later on. Take care, yeah.
Pleasure. See you then.
I don't know if people know that we have a wee group chat where we regularly chat.
Scottish YouTuber group chat. It's good fun.
And the icons nobody ever makes any spelling mistakes there. Never.
How's things?
Sorry?
How's things?
Oh, it's all right. I mean, it's a bit kind of... I've got a coffee, by the way, in case you hear. I've got a metal straw. Anyway, so, yeah, it's a bit kind of strange now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit...
mad.
yeah.
I like to do like a live video where I get people that I know who either work in something that's helpful or YouTubers as well in Scotland in general, just to see how everybody's getting on. You're right at the front of it. You're like being somebody who works in care, like you are at the front of this.
Yeah, it's all mad just now. Like a lot of for people that don't know, I'm a support worker for a company who provide care for people with dementia, and a lot of our clients have cancelled understandably they've cancelled their support, but there are a lot of people that are wanting extra, so I've still been working non-stop. A lot of people have sort of, like, one woman I have has like 7 workers that go into her house, so she's tried to minimise that down to 1, so most of my, day-to-day is just going to her house all day. So still been really busy, working this weekend, so I'm trying to get everything done today while I can.
Yeah.
It's absolute madness. And like trying to go into the shops and things, like shopping for people, or when you come out of work and there's just nothing on the shelves. It's just
crazy.
Nuts. Is it the same where you are, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so I'm in London right now, and it's just like there's just nothing on the shops at all, and I'm really worried. And it's something as well. Like I think you and I both have kind of suffered anxiety about different things over the years. And have you felt more anxious now at all? Because
Strangely, no. I think I'm just sort of roboting just now. And also, I think when something bad happens, normally, you feel like you're the only one going through it and no one can relate and all this. But I think because everyone's going through it just now, that sort of, I know that you have a lot of anxiety with these things.
For me, it's tough because, like, I get health anxiety specifically, which is like, it's almost like the fear of getting ill or the fear of getting, like, something that's going to kill me, basically. So this has been really quite tough, to be honest, tougher than I thought it was going to be. But at the same time, when I see other people panicking, I think like you, I feel like it's almost like being in the same boat as everyone else. And
it's weird.
There's a lot more people that should be worried than I should be, so I feel a bit better about that.
But I know, I think at the same time though, like, your worries are completely valid. I see that quite a lot. Like, people, have the right to be upset that their holidays have been cancelled or that their plans have been cancelled. And you get other people that are saying, well, people are dying, but it's like we are all entitled to feel, feel the way we feel about everything that's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a horrible situation, and it's really worrying. But I think now, like, I think we've been following the news so much, and there's been so many announcements and things, and now finally, like, restaurants, cinemas, cafes, etc., are shutting down. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit kind of irritated with seeing everybody out socialising and out with the pub and stuff, and I thought, like, not to be all woe is me and whatever, because I know it's worse for a lot of other people. People have lost their jobs and things, but I thought I've cancelled so many things, all my plans, everything I've been looking forward to keep your relatives safe, your vulnerable family members safe, and it's like, just stay in and keep safe. It's nuts.
People are just I think especially a lot of young people, they think like, I'm not going to get badly sick, so I'm just going to, whatever. So I think that's basically why here in London, especially, they've shut the pubs because people just were ignoring it and they were just going out anyway, which is really, really stupid. And I think as well, like, London is probably like a week ahead of everywhere else in the country as well. So like, even this county where I live in London, like this borough rather, it's like a small area, and there was like 100 cases just here with this tiny bit of London yesterday. So it's like there's a lot of people with it, and the chances of getting it, if you especially go out to bars and stuff, is probably quite high. And then like you said, it's about who you're going to pass it on to. Exactly.
I know, it's like people. I've heard people saying like, if I'm going to catch it, then I might as well be having fun. But it's not about you. It's not about you. It's the people that are more vulnerable.
And even then, there are, like, if you go look at Italy and stuff, there are young people who are getting really ill as well. Like,
exactly.
If people want to risk it, I think they're mad.
It's not worth the risk at all. It's really not. Like, would you not rather minimise the risk for yourself and for everyone else than just, going to the pub or seeing friends? I know it's really, really difficult. It is difficult to, cancel your plans or cancel normal life. It's just it's really strange. But it's just got to be done. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. It's just been kind of winding me up a little bit.
I had to go to work on Monday this week. My office was open, but that was the last day I was in. After that, they closed the whole thing down. So since then, I've been working from home. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Basically, I only went out a couple of times just to get some food at the supermarket. We've pretty much got enough now for about a week, so I won't have to go out again. And we're not going out today. Yesterday, I never went out at all, which it's about giving me a bit of cabin fever, to be honest, because we have a small apartment. But you just have to get on with it. Eh?
I know it's difficult. It's like I love seeing everybody their wee videos and things of what they're doing during self-isolation, and there's a lot to do, but also it must be so strange for people that are used to, like extroverts or whatever, that are used to go out and seeing friends and doing things at the weekend. Because for me, I need something to look forward to. I need plans to get me through the week, and now with nothing going on, it's very strange. But again, it does kind of help in a strange way that everyone's going through it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really sad. Like quite a lot of people I know have lost their jobs. It'll be the same with you as well. Like you'll know plenty of people too, and everybody's struggling.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people just they work in bars and restaurants, and unfortunately, like they're all shut down, and it's necessary to keep everybody safe. But I think it is a shame for people. And then there's other people like yourself on the front line, like you said, you know, work in healthcare. There's other people who work in supermarkets, and they're basically full on. You're basically putting your health on the line to save other people, to make sure the rest of us are all right, which I think is amazing. Like I said this other day, but I have so much admiration for people like you who are like having to go out to work and doing your thing and keeping people safe. So
yes, I really feel for obviously the people in the hospitals and things, or like the NHS frontline staff, or NHS NHS stuff, and people in general, and the supermarkets. I was at the gas station. Yeah, petrol station. I was saying that. Am I okay? I was there the other day, and I noticed the staff were wearing gloves to serve people, and I thought, I wonder why that's not the same for like the shops and things as well, because they're all just. But I did notice there's wee signs on like the self checkouts and things saying if a staff member comes to help, stand like a metre away or whatever. So I wonder how that's, if it's actually happening, if people are taking note of. I don't know.
Are you having to take extra precautions at work, or is it just something you would have done anyway?
Yeah, it's just something I would have done anyway. I have OCD, so I'm pretty bad with. I'm a total germaphobe as it is. I'm always washing my hands, and I'm always really careful about that. But I think with everything going on, I guess I am a little bit more. But I don't know if that's just the whole mental health thing. I am taking more precaution, but not really any more than I normally would. But I hope. I suppose that's a slightly good thing that's coming out of it. I think everyone should generally just be more conscious of hygiene.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and especially in care as well. Because in the past I have seen carers going from house to house, not with my company, but other home carers from other companies, maybe going into somebody's house, they don't go in and wash their hands, and it's like, hopefully it's getting drummed into people now that that's what they have to do, and it's really important to be as hygienic as we can.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, like a lot of people, even myself, like obviously I wash my hands and stuff, but now when you realise how much you need to wash your hands to keep viruses off, it's crazy. And most other viruses are pretty harmless to us, they're going to give us a cold, but for you, I guess, any virus could really be quite damaging to people you look after. So
I know, a bit kind of paranoid about that, because I think it was a couple of weeks ago, my mum had a bit of a cough, but she also had a runny nose and was sneezing. But I was like, I should be staying at home. I should be. And I thought, I can't actually stay at home right now. I think if it was one of those ones, like now, if I even got like a hint of a sore throat or anything, I wouldn't be able to risk it at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my work are, it's in high demand right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel like I've got to go in. I feel like I have to. Obviously, I wouldn't, but it's just the thought of if that happened, like I've
got responsibility. Yeah.
Not even worth thinking about just now. Yeah. It's crazy.
Is there anything you're short of, like both yourself in terms of stuff you need, or like for work as well?
Just on hand gel, really, like the what do we call it? The company that we normally get our hand gel from is completely run out. They're not getting a delivery in for a long time. But a nice thing that's come out of it is we have, as I'm sure a lot of places do, we have a like a coronavirus hometown group, and everybody's helping each other out, and they're all
That's nice.
you know walking each other's dogs and getting people shopping and things like you know, or posting where they see toilet roll and stuff. And I posted on there saying that we're really lacking in hand gel, and does anyone know where I can get some, etc. And a lot of people commented saying, oh, I've got spares that I was going to use for like my dance class or for my classroom that, you know, they can't now use. So I've sourced about like 8 mini hand gels, and then my friend got like a big one and she's going to send it, and I can put that into little bottles for my colleagues. So that's something positive that's come out of it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I know, the power of the internet. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like community spirit, isn't it? And you definitely find that in places like Scotland. Like, we've got a lot of good communities. It's probably a wee bit different here in London because nobody knows each other. But
I know. Like, do you find that? Do you feel like it's quite different there where you are then? And all this. I
think like you obviously get a connection with people you work with and stuff, but then everybody lives like in such an opposite part of town, and then like if you have somebody that lives in the west of London and somebody that lives in the east, it's like hours apart. So it's like you wouldn't really see them anyway. But in terms of like neighbours and stuff here, it's really different from Scotland in that you basically don't know anyone. It might be a bit different once you go a bit further out, but certainly here in the city centre, it's everybody's each one to themselves basically. It was a bit sad. It's well different from how it is in Scotland, isn't it?
Oh, that's so strange. I'm seeing a guy from London just now. I don't know where I'll see him.
you saw him.
You've got to laugh because I said that. I was like, oh, saying to somebody I'm in a long distance relationship, and they were saying, well, it's the safest kind of relationship.
Exactly, yeah, especially right now. And that's why I think like doing these live chats and stuff probably helps. Like, you guys probably do video chat and whatever, but like
and that's me and my friends are going to do. Do you have the app House Party?
I've heard of it. I've never
only
used
heard of it yesterday. Only heard of it yesterday, and we're going to do that tonight. Have a couple of drinks and sit on that, and well, I'm going to have one drink. I'm working tomorrow. But, I thought that's a really good idea, and I think that's something that we should all be wanting to use it because.
We should do a virtual gin wag.
I know. I was saying that as well to somebody. I was like, I need to get Shaun on a gin wag. I've had Tammy on. Need to get Shaun on, but obviously now
we'll have to do a video chat one.
We'll have to. That's all we can do.
What about in terms of like doing content? Excuse me, I'm not coronavirus. I suppose it's dry. What about doing content and stuff? Have you been talking about it much, or are you just trying to keep on doing what you usually do, or what?
Did you say with content? Yeah. Sorry, I was too busy laughing. I'm honestly like with work. Nothing's really changed for me content-wise because I still like have to just do YouTube when I can, when I'm off. And if I'm working on a Sunday, I have to do everything on the Saturday. And especially now with everything going on, the motivation. I think we spoke about that in the chat as well. Motivation's kind of lacking.
I think everybody's just working so hard right now. It's like difficult to do anything else. Yeah,
and today like I just felt bummed, and I was like, you know, I really don't feel like filming. But I filmed anyway, and you can totally see it in the video. But I think it's just I wanted to film something and sit down and talk about the situation.
Yeah.
But motivation is lacking. What about you?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. For me, it's like I feel like it's drained out of me. I have to admit that I probably spend way too much time looking at news and all that kind of stuff, and it's so draining, and it just makes me not really, like, I feel like I don't want to talk about anything else because it's insignificant, and then at the same time I felt like I didn't have anything to add to this topic, so that's why today I thought, you know, I'll get some of my friends on that I know, like yourself and others, and just chat about it. Like, I think other people,
it's a good idea.
Hopefully other people might find it like useful just to kind of get a different people's perspectives, and especially people like yourself who are obviously, you know, working in healthcare, and you're at the front line, you're seeing what's happening every single day, and how to keep people healthy and whatever.
It is really strange. It's just, I don't think MD really knows what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of roboting just now and getting through it. I don't think it's sunk in.
I know.
I really feel like, I don't know. 1 minute I'm crying over, do you know, one of my friends posted on Facebook this nice wee post about how it's spring now, and she posted, I started greeting. And I was like, what is this?
Nostalgia for like normal times.
Yeah. And to be fair, I am due, but it's not normally that bad. And I thought it must be affecting me.
Yeah,
And
I think it does.
I've not realised. It's really weird.
It might be
Really
something
strange.
that kind of has a delay, and maybe it'll kick in later. You'll think, what the hell, this is really, really, it's been really, really tough the last few weeks. For me, it's like, I don't know, I don't, not somebody who ever gets like depressed at all. I'm always more anxious and depressed, but it's heavy. I think the thing is, when you, especially like when you see the news and then even on the internet, it's just people talking about it all the time, so it's difficult to get out of it. And then you realise like you can't actually go and do normal things anymore. Like,
No.
and that could last like 6 to 10, 12 weeks maybe. Who knows?
Or longer.
Exactly.
You never know.
And then Monday night, when I finished my work in the office for the last day, I was thinking of coming up to Edinburgh, like getting the train up that night, and spending the whole time there, because it would have been a bit nicer. My family's got a garden and all that kind of stuff, so it would have been a bit better place to stay. But I was thinking like, there's like, because of all the people that have it here in London, there's a tiny chance that I could have it and just not know about it yet. And there's a risk of like spreading it to my family, especially people who are like older or sick or whatever. So I didn't do it for that reason. Where I'm probably fine, but it's like having to take all those extra steps and precautions as well.
I know exactly. Like you're probably fine, but then it's like there's that little what if.
Yeah, exactly.
What if I did pass something on, or and you just want to minimize risk as much as you can, but then it's a really difficult one. Because like I totally
Thanks to everybody for watching.
I'm going from like house to house, person to person, vulnerable person to vulnerable person, and it's like I always think about that, like what if I do have it, and what if I'm just the first 2 weeks you don't really have any symptoms or whatever,
exactly.
and I'm just going about passing it on without realising. But it's the same with everyone, I guess. Nobody knows.
That's
and
it.
the people that did have it or do have it didn't realise they had it, and who they passed it on to, etc. So it just feels like it's completely unavoidable.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're doing something that this people need to see you like every day, and you have to do it. And as long as you're keeping hygienic and everything, then like it's all you can do, really, isn't it?
All you can do. I've not been reading the comments, by the way. I've just noticed them.
Quite a lot of comments. It's difficult to see on this.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't want to knock my phone down. Oh look, they've all come up.
That's cool.
Oh my god. At least I was about to say I've not. I'll look back, but I can rewatch this after and have a scroll through the comments and things. See what people are saying. I've just completely forgot that people can comment.
It's crazy. It was just like we're having a chat, isn't it? And then like forget that loads of other people are here as well. So
I
thanks to everybody for watching.
Totally forgot. I did a weird thing with my hand there. I'm sitting on my pillow and I scratched my pillow, and I'm sitting while you were talking thinking, did anyone think that was a fart?
You know what? Actually, I moved on my chair as well a minute ago, and it sounded like that as well. Yeah, I kind of just ignored it, hoping nobody heard. But anyway,
sitting farting. No.
Anyway, like, so you're off this weekend or just today?
Just today, working tomorrow. I don't start till 1 though, so it's quite good. I'm just doing a YouTube video just now.
When's that going
just filmed as tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, cool.
Tomorrow night, aiming for 5 p.m. I think. I'm working till 6, so I'm always kind of hesitant about. So I might post it at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock,
because then I can see the comments and things. But yeah, that's what's coming. Have you got anything on this weekend? Any YouTube apart from this?
Not really, no, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I just like.
It's so weird that people are watching now.
I know. Get all self-conscious in that. Yeah, no, I just don't know. I've just felt, like I said, felt like I've had the wind knocked out of me. Like, I don't feel like the normal type of videos that I would have done, I don't feel like they're necessary right now, or like would help any. I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's probably just like something that's in my head, but.
Oh, aye, because at the same time, people are like sitting in their house and they'll be counting on your content to cheer them up and make them feel better during this shitty time. Yeah. Oh, what can you swear on this?
But I feel like this is the first time I've had like a human interaction. Like, obviously my wife here in the house as well, but like human interaction with somebody outside the house for like.
This is genuinely my first human interaction outside work. Honestly, this is so weird.
But it's cool as well. It's good that we can do that.
I have never done an Instagram. I can't speak. I've actually not had a drink yet. 24 soon. And I've never done a live before on Instagram. Weird.
Pretty cool. I like how you can do this kind of split screen thing. It's split
In the
screen.
chat.
Split. That's what I'm saying in our group chats. We have all these typos because some people hit the wrong button and whatever.
Some people being Shaun all the
Yeah,
time.
mostly me, and I'm doing it in real life as well. So there you go.
I wish I could remember the last one that was really, really funny.
Yeah.
I'll need to find it. But it was so good. I love for the typos in that chat. They're so good. So good.
But anyway, yeah, it's cool to chat. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Can't wait to see the video.
Good fun, yeah. And thank you for all the work you're doing. It's amazing. Like, I think everybody needs to be grateful for anybody who's risking themselves to go out and to help people right now. Like, so.
Oh, thank you.
It's
I
really
don't know what to
awesome.
say now.
Um,
I'll think about how to manoeuvre this, so I don't know if you're able to kick me out when you want, or
I don't know how this works. It'll be funny to find out. But also,
I'm sitting here all day like.
for all the people watching, hopefully they can easily get over to your account now, because you should just be able to press a button on your face, right, and then go over. I don't know how it works. and follow you as well.
Keep anyway on Instagram and YouTube. I don't know if you want to look at it.
Yeah, go over and check her out. It's a good laugh.
I'm getting the giggles now. I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, I'm going to shoot off, but good to speak to you.
You too. Take care. We'll speak in the chat anyway.
I will speak in the chat. See you
Okay,
later.
see you. Bye.
Yo.
You hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. No worries. How's it going?
Oh, really good, man. How you doing?
Not bad. Edward joining me all the way from Stornoway. Are you in Stornoway?
Not Stornoway. Now I'm Shetland.
Oh, yeah, Shetland. Sorry.
A little bit further north than
What's the main town of Shetland again?
that. Lerwick.
Lerwick.
That is the main capital. Yeah,
Nice
yeah,
one.
yeah.
How's things up there?
Yeah, I started that with really good as like a general thing. I would say things are more like, kind of 50-60% like average. But in general, like I think for a community we're doing okay.
I can't even imagine what it's like up there, because obviously in the big cities down here, everybody's staying away from each other. But up there, I would imagine people might be a little bit more complacent, just because they probably think it's not arrived on the island. I don't know.
I mean, what's so funny? Like I was just thinking about this on the way back down from something, and like a week ago, I was in that exact same boat of kind of brushing it off. And I think like there's still a little part of me that's like, I don't think it's as crazy as like the media sort of fuels the fire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a little part of me is kind of still like, oh, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. But kind of for me, it's been like seeing it get worse every single day. And now obviously with the social distancing stuff, I was seeing like someone say about people that live in cities and stuff saying, oh, don't go outside at all. Like don't go to parks and stuff. And the one blessing for kind of people that live up here and like myself and my family is we have so much space. Yeah. So like the other day, me and my friends went out for a walk for like 3-4 hours and there's no one around within like a 5-mile radius. So like it's good for that in that sense. I can't imagine what it's like in a city when people are like, oh, don't go outside, you can't go to a local park, all this sort of stuff, because that's like that would drive me insane. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've got proper cabin fever because a lot of people are literally scared to go out. I mean, obviously people are still going to the parks and whatever, but this thing, it lives on metal surfaces. So if you go out there and you touch a handle, potentially you've 1,000 people have touched that handle in the last day or so, and that's a scary thought. I mean, even with washing your hand and stuff, I think you can see how things can spread a lot easier in a place like this. But then I've been watching as well, like insane things. People have been traveling up to the Scottish Highlands en masse in caravans and stuff, in their attempt to try and escape this. But in their result, what they're doing is they're taking the virus up to the Highlands with people who literally, it's just mad. It's insane. Like Shetland isn't experiencing too much of that because kind of like Shetland was actually the first place, believe it or not, in Scotland to start shutting public buildings and schools. So like my one of my family members is a teacher here, and like she remembers in the space of 48 hours, like stuff just started kicking off left, right and center. And then kind of like head of education was contacting the government and being like, look, we need to stop this, that and the other. So yeah, Shetland was one of the first places to kind of switch onto it. But now they're kind of like, they're cutting down all the flights and stopping a lot of like the stuff. Like the boat is the main lifeline. So that's like the most affordable kind of, it's a 12-hour boat for those that don't know. Wow. 12-hour boat from Aberdeen to Shetland. So they're stopping that now for a lot of people. There's a lot of different like restrictions coming in place from what I've read. But it's funny you're saying about there, like it kind of transferring on metal surfaces, because even I don't know, like there's so much word and so many people saying like so many things about coronavirus. It's so hard to know like what's actually true and what isn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone at this time, it's like the Facebook gurus, isn't it? Like everyone seems to know something. And like,
Exactly.
they're all sort of like. So I did it a little bit at the start. I started sharing some stuff, but then I was just like, look, I know nothing about the situation. I'm just gonna like completely stop.
That's it. There's
saying
so
anything
many
about it.
sources of news out there. There are people that are, for political reasons or whatever, that are spreading
Yeah.
news. But ultimately, all you have to do is really look at Italy and what is going on there. Like 800 people dying in
Literally.
a day, like that. Even if those numbers end up being smaller than what they could end up being, 800 people dying in a day. That's insane. That's absolutely off the charts.
It is mental, yeah. And obviously the circumstances they're living in. There was a podcast of the day where they phoned in 2 Italian guys, and like, I mean, they seem to be in okay spirits, like as a country, but it's just like to be staying inside all the time and to be really, really stuck with that. It's just like, it's terrifying. So I think, like I said before, it's not as bad up here. We can still get around the sort of space. I can still go out driving and stuff like that. But I can definitely see in the next few weeks as things become tougher, like it's just getting more and more mental.
You've been spending you obviously your usual base would be Glasgow, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of mad. So I put my story earlier, like it's essentially put my career on hold. Like, so I was only supposed to be home for a week. I was doing some tourist board stuff, like a week, 10 days max. And then obviously it got progressively worse and stuff started getting cancelled. And I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. And then kind of like 7 days into being back home, I was like, I'm actually going to be stuck here for a long time. So I'm lucky that I'm still able to do a lot of kind of stuff remotely, but yeah, the plan was to kind of get my first place to live in Glasgow. We're starting to work with a lot of agencies and do a lot of brand stuff, and like that's just all been pulled.
It's all been on hold for now. I spoke to other people who are freelance right now, and it's just like it's such a situation that nobody expected. It just like out of the blue. You would never think everything would be shut down to such an extent where people who do freelance or contract work are just like not needed like for now. It's bizarre. And it's quite scary, but
the in-person stuff is like the scariest part. So a lot of my friends, like close friends, are like travel guys for a living. So they literally are travel videographers for hotels, tourist boards and stuff like that. And they're lucky that they save up enough money and kind of prepare for tough eventualities. But in general, like the whole kind of motivation will drop. And like I say, is I'm able to kind of still keep doing stuff, but really it's like, it knocks your motivation. So I've got this kind of like 50-50 capacity of doing what client work I can, like be that editing or strategy stuff. But then the other part of me just wants to like play games and just like sit around, because it's just like everyone has that mentality. Do you know what I mean? They're just kind of like, well, we'll just sit around and wait for it to pass.
Exactly, yeah. When this could end up being 3-4 months. Like, so it's quite a long time, but it's tempting to just be like, all right, I'm on holiday now, but you need to,
I know it's hard not to. I'm trying to like keep motivated to like do things and use the time. Like the cliche post of like people like, oh, start reading more and meditating and all this stuff, which I was actively doing anyway. But it's just like, I don't know. Now you're like put on the spot to do it. So strange.
Exactly. And you were recently working in Sheffield for a YouTuber up there, down there.
Yeah, yes. So that's the jumper I'm wearing right now.
Oh,
but
nice. But, like,
so
do you think if you knew what was coming, would you have stayed? Do you think, or is it just?
So I mean, in general, like I think I was leaving anyway. Like that was a definite. But I think if I had still been there now, actually, I would have been a pretty demotivated place. Like I still keep in touch with him. I still speak to him all the time, and just kind of general morale will drop, because a lot of his videos are kind of outdoor challenge based. Yeah. So his kind of constrictions get heavier, then he'll get a knock-on effect from it as well. I just like anyone can really see that if they know the videos. But I like being with my family, to be honest. I would say I'm quite a family-oriented person, so
you're in a good place.
I'm quite glad to be home. Yeah, and like I said, like the freedom and stuff is incredible. Yeah. Because I mean, Sheffield's a city, so it's going to start getting hit pretty hard on people going outside. Whereas here, like I said before, we can just go about and do kind of, especially in places that there's no people around, I guess.
You can go out and get fresh air as much as you want, but
basically. I mean, yeah, it's funny. Like this, went for a walk the other day and like went to the beach, and there was a lot of people going there. So people are getting the idea of like going out. So it's just picking the spots that are a little bit quieter, and kind of being wise about it. I don't know. I think like if you're kind of not stupid about things and you're just sort of going about things like the right way and reading the guidelines and just not being an idiot, like I do firmly believe you'll be okay. Yeah. I don't think the worst thing I keep seeing a lot of even like friends and family are just like so panicky and like taking every precaution possible, and you're like, look, just see how it plays out, just chill your beats. Like it's mental, because people get so worried and so panicked, and you're just like, just wait for it to play out. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
sort
exactly.
of do what you need to do and kind of do what works best, but don't sort of. I mean, I spoke to people that are like a week ago were thinking about staying in for like the next 3 months, and not speaking or seeing to anyone. I'm like, what's your kind of reasoning why? They're like, do you have anything wrong with you medically? And they're like, no. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just like take
Although,
it as it comes and see how it goes.
I think now, like, obviously it depends where you are in the world, but here in London, for example, like I said, I could step outside
Yeah.
now and touch a rail that's been touched by 1,000 people today, and the chances of somebody who was infected touching it is quite high. And like, there's a genuine risk of catching it here. Like in this borough where I live, there's like 80 people on Friday had it just here in one day.
That's mental.
And that it's just mad. So I think obviously in a big built up city where there's thousands and thousands of people in a small space, it's a bit more difficult, which is, I kind of regret the fact that I didn't manage to like escape just before it kind of all came down, because I would have went up to Edinburgh and got a bit more space up there.
Do you
but
still not do that now whilst the travel's still kind of there-ish?
I could, but there's a risk of having the infection and not knowing about it and passing it on to family members who are either old or who have got autoimmune disease and stuff like that. So it's not worth it.
Absolutely.
But anyway, it is what it is. We're in for the duration now. We've got plenty of food and stuff, and hopefully it'll play out. But
are you and your wife both working from home then?
Well, yeah, I'm working from home pretty much full time. She works from home anyway, but my company's basically sent us all home for the duration. So I mean, as long as we've got food and water and stuff, we're pretty fine.
Yeah. How do you find home working?
It's tough. For me, it's tough. Like I used to I've done a lot of it over the years, but once you then spend a bit of time like not homeworking anymore, and you get into a bit of a rhythm and a kind of routine, and then to get back from that is quite tough. It's just, I guess, one of those things everybody has to get on with right now. And that's why, like,
I just like people, man. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I like being around people. I thrive off like being with other people. And I mean, I've never ever been office orientated, but I've always been like with people.
Yeah, exactly.
So even though I don't like, a lot of my job is editing and kind of being at my laptop, like I love being in coffee shops or in different friends' studios and stuff like that. I love being out and about, and I love like being in hustle bustle things. So when I come up here and it's like dead, you're like, well, it's pretty quiet now.
I'm exactly the same as you. Like, I like to be around people. I like to kind of bounce ideas off people and kind of get a bit of banter and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, even if you were down here, like, if you go out into the streets, all right, there's some people going for walks and stuff. But in terms of working, there's nobody working in like, kind of group spaces, if you like, anymore. The whole thing's just shut down. So, like, whether you're in Shetland or London, it's almost no difference in that sense. Everybody's in the same boat. And I know plenty of freelancers in London, and they're in exactly the same boat. They've not got anything on. So if you've got, you know, if you can work remotely and still have things, like, I think that's pretty amazing.
Like, literally, like, I'm so look, speaking to some of my other friends that are literally event and in-person based that have lost thousands overnight, like, all I do is just like sit here and be like, thank God that I'm not just solely reliant on in-person stuff, and I can still kind of keep myself afloat doing other bits and pieces, because like, it would have been so bad if I was kind of doing like event. Or, I mean, I've got a friend that's a wedding videographer, and he does like 40-50 weddings a year, and now like most of his summer season is just like gone overnight, and you're just like that's literally his year's salary gone.
That's crazy. I mean, exactly. So I've got a friend who's a wedding photographer as well, and it's the same thing. Like, the whole summer's cancelled, and how do you bounce back for it? That's difficult. It's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are very resilient. If you're smart, you'll kind of prepare for these eventualities. But there's only so much you can prepare, especially for something like this. Like, especially for it to get so progressively worse, and like people at the beginning, and even like myself, I'll say, like, people are like, oh, it'll just be a flu, oh, it'll just pass, and then as you see it get worse and updates come day by day, and then you're like, oh God, this is so bad.
Exactly.
Like 2 weeks in.
Exactly. That's crazy. But we'll just have to get going. And I haven't been able to create content for the last few weeks. I've just been demotivated by everything and not knowing, like, should I be speaking about this or not? So this was kind of my first step into, you know, actually just speak to some of my mates in Scotland and see how everybody's getting on. So it's good to speak to you.
I love that. I remember you texted me earlier today, and I was like, this will go down really well, and kind of, I don't know who else you're speaking to, but it should be pretty cool to get some different perspectives of people that are in different places and things. Because like I say, I'm the viewpoint I'm only sharing, and perhaps I'm a little bit sheltered from it. You're saying there about kind of it getting spread via metal and stuff. It's like, I don't even process that. I'm just like, oh yeah, we can just go about here, it'll be fine, because we've got so much room. But like, say in London, where everyone's like so confined, it's just like, I couldn't imagine what that's like.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Like, and the thing is, like you say, most young people aren't getting sick. But there are some, like today, that there was a doctor here in London who's 36-year-old, never had any health problems, and is now on a breathing machine. Like,
Mad.
That's mad. I mean,
It's terrifying, and I think the stats, like they threw me off at first, and if you look them up now, it's still a 95% mild / recovery rate.
Yeah.
Which you kind of think like, oh, only 5% of it's serious, but it's like you just said there, like people are still getting it. So even with the stats, you're like, oh my god.
5% is a big number. Like, it doesn't sound big, but
yes,
take 5% of the population and say you're going to end up in intensive care. It's crazy, but yeah. Anyway, like you've got a good positive attitude about things, and I think that's amazing. So.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do really? Because
exactly.
I mean, I'm only 19, so it's like hopefully like half a year out of my life at most will be massively affected. So yeah, really,
you're at the perfect age, man. Like, you've got the rest of the, even if we have 2 years out, you're in a perfect place.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed things move a little bit quicker than that.
But
right.
Keep in touch, yeah.
Yeah, of course, dude. Of course, you look after yourself.
Yeah, you as
Any
well.
video stuff, give me a shout.
How's things?
I don't know, not great to be honest. It's kind of, everyone's been asking me that, and it's this kind of very natural thing to be like, yeah, okay, but yeah, things are tough. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's quite heavy. It's like I don't really do good with health stuff, and when all this came on, it's been a bit overwhelming. I mean, one thing is I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of work to do, so I've just been getting on with that side of things. But I just wanted to kind of catch up with you and see what things are like in Edinburgh as well, because I'm obviously in London at the moment, and I think with this thing going on, it's like so different from one end of the country to the other.
Yeah. So in Edinburgh, I don't kind of really know what it's like out and about, because we've been self-isolating for a while, but just in terms of like the mood and the feel, just kind of what I see from friends on social media and stuff, people are anxious and kind of cautious, I guess, which is so different from how it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. At that stage, everyone was kind of, especially kind of people our age, were kind of making the jokes about it and stuff, and like I just find it fascinating how quickly that's turned into like seriousness, and then into like real worry and real it's interesting how that's kind of changed. So yeah, that's kind of the feel I get from Edinburgh and people. So what's it like down in London?
I think a lot of people, there's still a lot of young people who find this as an inconvenience, and so like even like yesterday, the pubs were shutting probably at midnight or whatever, and people were crowding them out until the very last moment. I think a lot of young London hipsters are just like, whatever, it's probably not going to affect me when it could actually affect them. But like in terms of work and stuff as well, I think people who have been affected work-wise obviously have been, I've seen an image at HIT, and I know that it's affected people who work freelance and do gig stuff a lot more than others. So it'd be good, like how's things with, obviously you're a musician and stuff. It must be quite difficult right now, because I don't know what's happened.
So just to kind of explain a little bit, just in case people are watching and stuff. So basically, I'm a self-employed freelance musician. So like I don't have a boss. I basically play in a couple of different bands, but I play mainly in a ceilidh band here in Scotland, and we play weddings and stuff. So I do that, and then I also give music lessons, and basically, kind of for the foreseeable future, all that work has just been dried up and been cancelled, basically. I guess with teaching kids, I go in and I teach a couple of days a week in their houses and stuff, and that's kind of unsafe, you could argue, which is ironic because now they're home all day, this is a perfect time for them to be practicing. And then when I'm playing at weddings or I'm playing at functions, essentially that is like a gathering of lots of people who are dancing together, holding hands, like hugging and stuff, and that is like the opposite of what is needed to kind of stop the spread of this. So that's kind of also off the cards. So we've had, and I feel awful for them, but we've had like, today's a Saturday. I'm meant to be heading off to a wedding through in Glasgow right now, but that's been cancelled. And in all the time I've been doing music, I put up a post saying that my very first live gig was 10 years ago. And in all those 10 years, I've never had a wedding cancel like the week before or on the day. It just doesn't happen, let alone 3, 4, 5 months worth of weddings just suddenly cancel, you know. So yeah, it's tough, and it's also like it's so uncertain as well.
It's not known when it's going to end, right?
No, if it was like, and obviously I know the government, no one knows, oh, it's all going to be done by 12 weeks or it's going to be done by a year. But when it's in this kind of in-betweeny uncertain stage, it's really tough for people to book weddings and people to book work. All my pub gigs have like stopped, obviously, because pubs are closed. But it's really difficult for people to kind of plan ahead, and obviously weddings and gigs usually get planned quite far ahead. So yeah, it's a tricky time to be a self-employed freelance musician. You know,
I'm sorry to hear how tough it is, and like it is. It's one of those things that I kind of expect that things have moved so fast in the last few days that you know, the government, they've obviously announced a lot of measures to help people who are fully employed by, you know, bars or whatever. But like I almost feel like it's something that they are working on behind the scenes, or at least they have to. They must be. They should be if they're not. And I would hope that in the next 2 or 3 days we'll see something from them that would, because there's probably millions of people like yourself in the UK who work freelance or who would do the gig economy type of stuff, and like, it's tough. They have to come out with something, because it's all fair and well shutting down the whole economy because it's important, but we can't just leave like so many, you know, millions of people high and dry.
Yeah, no, it feels like I guess like I'm a kind of fairly specific group of people. Like, you know, we're in the minority, those that are kind of self-employed, and also in creative arts as well. You know, that's even more of a kind of a niching, I guess. But it kind of feels like this group or this kind of falling through the cracks in terms of what they're putting through, and they're changing it every day. You know, it almost seems like they come out with something one day, and then there's a bit of a, not a backlash, but there's a bit of a conversation of, oh, it has to be more funding, or it has to look after these people. So last night when I was watching the stuff on the news, that hit me pretty hard, just because it literally was like, we're going to be giving, you know, 80% of, you know, the pay for those employed and stuff for however long, which is great, you know, and I'm not kind of, you know, saying that's bad at all. It's just kind of like the next line of the news was, well, what is there for self-employed people? Not really that much, you know. There's we can pay our taxes slightly later, the 31st of July, which is cool, you know. And we can apply for more on universal credit, but that's kind of that's kind of seems not unfair, but just like it's quite a blow. I feel they may announce something tonight, and I've been speaking to the musicians union and stuff, and there is kind of a little bit of like a pressure on the government to help out people in my situation. So
there's definitely pressure, because it's like, obviously, like you said, it's a smaller group, but at the same time we're talking millions of people, and that's too much of a hit to dump on the economy with like that many people with just suddenly nothing. That would crush the economy. So like I would say, if it's not tonight, we're going to see something by Monday, Tuesday latest, like some kind of announcements. And I know like at the same time it's still so uncertain to think about but I think it's uncertain for everyone. Like, nobody knows if we're going to be in a job in the next few months or whatever. It's just tough, man. And like, I really feel sorry for you guys, and I hope I know things are going to work out. It's just like it's just not knowing right now. I don't know.
I think that's the thing, is like I said to someone on Facebook that like the only thing that's certain right now is uncertainty, and that's just like, it's like such an uncomfortable situation for the whole country to be, for the whole world to be in, you know. It's also like weird to be going through something that, you know, near enough every single person on the planet is feeling the effects of somehow, and there's not been that many things in our lifetime that is literally like everyone wakes up in the morning and has this like thing on their mind, you know, or people are kept up at night because of this one thing, you know.
I think as well, like the last time that this happened was the Spanish flu, which was 1918 or 1919.
1918.
They obviously couldn't take the measures that we're taking today, and that resulted in like up to 50 million people dying. Like, we're talking like this is like major. But I remember the last kind of financial crisis, I had probably started in the workforce maybe 2 years before it happened. And in those days, like I remember, you know, the 2-3 years after the crash, like what people did to kind of survive and like find a way was go out on their own and do freelance stuff. And that's how people you know, really found themselves. But like this one's just totally different because that type of work, it becomes more difficult because of the way things are with the virus and whatever. It's
Yeah, I think with the crash, like that was obviously like such a big thing, and like countries and like the government and the banks like reacted in a certain way to kind of try and equalize that, and they put in certain measures and stuff, you know. But with and that's like an economic thing, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing about this that gets me is it's like a health thing, you know. So it's although politics is reacting and the economy is reacting, that's kind of that's nothing compared to the fact that this is like a health issue.
Yeah.
You know, this is like just something which, you know, I know the crash had like a bad effect on people health wise, but this is just like when you think of after or through this, the number of people that will be affected, the number of people that will die, that's just like that is just like
So scary.
still blows me over. Yeah, very scary. Yeah.
Type of thing where like I know mostly young people are not going to be affected, but we could be, which is scary in itself. But it's just like, you know, anyone over 60 is potentially vulnerable, and it's just shocking. Like I feel like we're in a movie, to be honest. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, I feel like the way I've said it is that for like the last week and a half, I feel like I'm in a dream. I feel like I'm in the longest bad dream ever, where like stuff is changing, or like you're in a film where like stuff isn't real, or like I'm in Shaun of the Dead or something, you know. But it's just like but this is like real life, you know, and the measures that are kind of being put forth are like unlike anything we've ever seen before, and probably hopefully won't ever see again in our lifetime. And it's just like sucks that we're in that moment right now instead of having been through it, you know.
Exactly. And I remember, it's just so bizarre. I just said this to my wife like half an hour ago, that I remember at Hogmanay, for example, and we were at your gig and under the castle, and it was just such like a high moment. Like you were playing in front of all these people, and everybody was having such a great time. You know, Scottish Cayley music, and and it almost feels like, wow, do you remember those days when we could all get together and dance together and whatever? Yeah. It's so unbelievable.
Yeah, it was funny because we did a wedding last Saturday in Edinburgh, and we realized that basically Cayley dancing is like getting people to like touch hands and to like be like relatively intimate with each other, and like dancing and hugging, and like you're often swapping partners and stuff, and you're like clapping hands. I'm like, oh no, this is really bad, you know. Little did we know that like a couple of days later, suddenly everything would change. But yeah, it feels like a long time ago since Hogmanay, but it was only like 3 months or 4 months ago. But it feels like a different year, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like with so many things happening day by day, it's like everything is moving fast, but at the same time feels so slowly, especially when you're worried about the future or whatever. But where can, hopefully if things pick up, and where can people find you and your music and your band and all that when things do pick up?
Sure. Yeah, well, that's the thing, is we're now we went from having a booking like every single Friday and Saturday night now to just like completely empty. But yeah, the band I play in is called the Sleek Beasties, and you can find us on Facebook or YouTube. I kind of make fun YouTube videos for us and stuff. And to be fair, I'm going to have a lot more time now. So one thing I am trying to think positively is I'm going to have a lot more time to make videos for the band. And for myself, I go by the name The Millennial Musician on Instagram and online and stuff. So, you know, it's like trying to be optimistic, trying to be hopeful, and be like, right, well, we're going to have a lot of time off, right? Okay, it means I can practice the drums or practice the piano or make some videos or whatever, because I feel like if I just get into this mindset of like, I've just lost like 6 months of my life, then it's going to be like really bad for my physical and mental health. So just trying to be really positive as much as possible, and we're all in this together, right? So
exactly. Well, keep in touch. Let me know if anything I can do, and thanks for speaking.
Will do, no worries.
And I'll speak to you soon, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
Take care.
See you soon. Bye.
Hey! That is some severe beard since the last time I saw you.
I know. I've been in quarantine a while, Shaun.
You've not seen another human for months. It's like Castaway.
Nah. You got to blend in. You got to switch your style up for the times, right?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Not bad. Just a bit weird because I've been in this flat in London, and there's obviously so much going on the streets, and some people trying to isolate and some not. But it's just strange. It's just strange.
there is quite like a clear divide, isn't there? There's like some people who are taking it really seriously, and then other people are very blasé about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's really annoying because like most of us will be alright, like you said earlier, but there are going to be a lot of people who are going to get really sick from this, and if we spread it, it's not good. Like I know people who are got really low immune systems, and they cannot get this. Like they will not handle it. So
yeah, no, I know. I mean, I think initially you think, what am I scared of? Like, I'll just go out, get it, it'll be totally fine. And then you realise, well, that's quite a selfish attitude to have. But I think the main fear I have anyway, and you know, like being from Edinburgh, the kind of backbone of our economy is tourism and the hospitality industry. And, you know, I don't want to be a kind of prophet of doom and gloom, but it's not looking great. It's not looking great in that respect.
You can see like this is going to have a crushing effect on so many people in Scotland. Like they say, like the tourism's just so much for Edinburgh, and I can see that, for example, in Edinburgh, even I can see the Fringe being cancelled this year. If this is prolonged, there's just no way it's going to go ahead. Like basically, this year is pretty much one we're just going to have to give a miss.
It's a write-off, yeah. Just skip it.
Exactly, but it's like all the pain that will come with that. I mean, it's going to hurt a lot of people for sure.
Yeah, it is a tough one. And I think by all forecasts, it's looking to be a lot longer term than I think most people want it to. But, you know, I was listening to your other chats earlier. Shout out Chris. He's a good lad. But I don't want to be too depressing about it. I think we've all heard a lot of negative stuff. And I think you have to be a realist and you have to accept that we're going to have to adapt, and you're going to have to kind of acknowledge that life's going to be different. But I don't think it has to be bad. I always say there's a great Homer Simpson quote in The Simpsons where they talk about in China they have the same word for crisis and opportunity. Yeah. And Homer Simpson says crisis-opportunity, which is not the real word, but the philosophy of trying to find an opportunity in a crisis, trying to change things up. Like Chris was saying, maybe it's an opportunity for him to be more creative in terms of creating music. And I'm in a similar boat as well. Like, you know, in terms of my work, it's kind of narrowed it down. And a good cure for writer's block, that is, being forced in a room and not being allowed to leave. So,
in terms of one thing I really wanted to ask you is, like, I'm struggling with this myself big time, because at least on a normal day here in London, I could be active, I could walk, you know, an hour, 2 hours a day, even if I'm not going to the gym. But like, that's out of the question. Going to the gym's out of the question, obviously. So like, what, like, how do people keep fit? Like, you do a lot of fitness content. It's a lot of inspirational stuff, but then, you know, a lot of the stuff you do, you can see, like, you've got the gym there and stuff, which is obviously inaccessible right now. So what's this, how would you advise people to keep moving?
Yeah, so we just closed up yesterday under the, not even advice, kind of the order of Boris.
You can see police actually enforcing that around the country today as well. Some places didn't close and they were actually police around.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Like, it's weird because our gym is quite a small gym, and we can kind of enforce the social distancing, and we can allow kind of like between 5 and 10 people to work out without a great deal of contact. And because our gym is quite condensed, you've been in there, so like, you know, everything is basically one space, so you can kind of stay on top of cleaning stuff. But, you know, at the same time, we fall under the same umbrella as your mega gyms, like your David Lloyd's or Virgin Actives. So, we've just tried to pivot, and we're now trying to put everything online now. So provide as many classes as we can through what is essentially just like video conferencing. So it's a little bit better than just sticking a YouTube video on, because there is that element of interaction with the other members of the class, but also the instructor. You can get feedback and stuff like that. my advice would be just try and get out. I know a lot of the guidelines are kind of, they're not discouraging people from going out, but they are saying kind of limit your interaction with other people.
Yeah.
I would just, you can still run, you can still use equipment that you might find like playgrounds, or there might be outdoor gyms and stuff in your area. And there's loads of stuff you can do at home. Shaun, this week I've been bombarded with everyone and their mum's home workout routine. It's absolutely saturated YouTube, so there's no shortage of home workout routines. So
I wonder if this week might actually kickstart a bit of a revolution in that sense, because like there's a lot of people that obviously do these kind of workout regimes over like Skype and whatever, but actually wide scale, not everybody does it. But now I think it might give people a bit of a push to kind of get involved with a virtual personal trainer.
I mean, so I know a lot of guys who the bulk of their PT work is online. Obviously very antisocial people, but no, I mean it means that they don't have to kind of, you can only see so many people in a day as a PT. But if you do online PT, it means that you don't have to see those people, and therefore you can condense and you can fill out your client list. So yeah, I don't know. I do think a big part, and you hear this a lot with personal trainers. I'm not a PT, full disclosure, but a lot of personal trainers say that they're not personal trainers. They're like agony aunts and life coaches and all these things. I think there's a huge kind of personal, social element that comes with having a trainer, or even having a gym buddy that is now going to kind of be removed. So I would say to people out there, make sure you're still kind of using your fitness and your exercise and your movement practices as a way of interacting with other people. It might be different. You might have to stand 2 meters away from them, but at the same time, make sure you're still having human interaction, because it's such a big part of it, I think,
Lonely out there, isn't it? But I just saw a video you posted on Instagram, I think it was like today at some point. I just saw it today anyway, of doing some workouts at home.
There's just me rolling about on the living room floor. Literally just here,
But
so,
we're going to have to do that now, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to post more stuff at the moment. Some kind of quick tutorials, not least because people want to try and get fit at home, but also just because people are bored and they want to be stimulated. And I think the best way of doing that is trying to learn something new. So if you can combine the two, then brilliant. So I'm sticking up a few tutorials for moves, and one of them was the kip up, and I was doing an assisted kip up with my wife, who's in the background here.
Nice one.
So there's loads of stuff as well. Like, me and Dan, shout out Dan, we kind of jokingly do pantomime versions of like, you don't need a gym to work out, but at the heart of it is this idea that you really don't, like, it doesn't need to be complicated. It's just moving. So yeah, the big thing for me is the community element, the social element. I think that is something that people need, and it's something that a lot of people get from fitness and exercise. So it's something that people really need to focus on. I mean, anyone and their mum can do like a couple of sets of press-ups and some sit-ups, but it's the other stuff that you get, the other benefits that you get interacting with other people. So yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah, well, I just need to keep going, right? I think one thing like about going outside and stuff, obviously here in London it's quite difficult to avoid people, but if you're out, if you go for a run or a jog or whatever, you can bounce about and kind of stay a bit of distance with people. It can become a bit of a physical challenge, a bit of a game,
absolutely.
How can you run about without bumping into someone?
The real challenge is going to be when we're supposed to stay in our houses and we're going to have to outrun the military and the police. That's going to be a real test of fitness.
That should be a video. That'll be the new running the gauntlet.
Just fire a GoPro on. Just
exactly.
Go for it,
Nah, but it's absolutely mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scary times.
What are you thinking? How are you feeling about it all?
I don't know. For me, it still feels a bit surreal because it's obviously quite new, the last 2 or 3 days. But I don't like being inside. I never have. Like, I've always been an outdoor kid when I was growing up. So for me now, being stuck in a flat is really, I'm getting cabin fever. But at the same
Oh, yeah.
time, I'm actually kind of afraid almost of going out and catching this thing, because like I've got an autoimmune condition. There's a chance I could get seriously ill. There's a chance anyone could get seriously ill, and I don't like that thought. So there's that part of it that's in the back of my head. Like, you go out here, you touch a sort of, like, for me to get out to the front, I need to touch 2 public doors, which hundreds of people have touched. And like, you can wash your hands as much as you want, but like, there's always that chance of catching it, and it's in the back of my head. So I don't know. It's been a bit heavy, and I don't know. I really
Getting the rush hour tube was like something from a contagion horror film
exactly.
at the best of times. So now I can imagine it's like a ghost town.
Yeah, well, I think they've actually stopped most of the tubes now, but I have to admit, if you go out now, there's far less people around than there was. But even things like going to the supermarket, you go out and you pick up packaging and stuff that other people have handled, and it's like, as somebody who's always been conscious of like health stuff and that, it's just played in the back of my mind. But at the same time, I don't like being stuck indoors. I really don't like it.
Can you still get pasta in London?
Nah, no pasta.
There's no pasta in Edinburgh.
No toilet paper.
No toilet paper, no pasta.
At what point will you run out?
It's gonna be Bear Grylls.
Yeah, it's quite bad on that front. Like, I think people are just absolutely mad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have to go out and start hunt soon. There's not much to hunt here in London, but
start eating each other probably. Yeah. So
exactly. Yeah.
But how do you feel? Do you feel like it's impacting your content in any way?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because like I've not really been creating anything over the last week, because I said this to the guys earlier. I don't know if I've got anything to add to the conversation about what's going on. At the same time, I feel like anything else I could do is just like whatever. It's not helping anyone. That's just something that's in the back of my head. But that's what I want to do, these kind of chats with other content creators, to see how everyone's coping with it and how you guys are feeling, and like how we move forward as well. And I think just having this like one-to-one chat, like, it's probably not something we'd usually do all the time, but now we've got an opportunity to connect online. It almost gives you inspiration to kind of have ideas to do other things. But yeah, I don't know, it's tough. What about you? I know you've been posting a few videos from like indoors and stuff, but
yeah, I'm just trying to keep the momentum going. I think it is also really important to stay in touch with people, because I think there are a lot of people out there. Obviously, you talk about isolation in the grand scheme of things, people are already saying that we're already quite alienated by, social media and kind of the fast-paced nature of the way life is these days. So to now actually literally be enforcing social distancing and isolation, it kind of compounds that. So I think a big thing is, I've been tripping over live streams on my Instagram today. Like, everybody seems to be doing them, and I think it's been a reaction to people wanting to get out there and interact with their followers in a very kind of visceral, real-time way, rather than just like a couple of likes here or there. So yeah, but for me, in terms of thinking about, so I had a few plans in terms of like, you start the new year, you're kind of like new year, new me, like uber motivated, like this is the one, and then you get this massive kind of roadblock in your way, and I'm just kind of trying to think. Again, you just got to adapt and pivot and stuff, but it has kind of rewritten the rulebook a little bit for the following year.
It's really, really mad. Like, everything we thought was going to happen is basically being put on hold, right? And anyway, I think we just have to see how the next weeks play out, and hopefully this thing passes and we can get back to normal life. But anyway, it's been good to speak to you, and I hope anybody who's interested in fitness should definitely go over to Jason's Instagram now, check it out.
Follow. If nothing else, a couple of months more quarantine, I'll have a bigger beard. So look on the bright side. Gotta be optimistic.
That's gonna be a proper Tom Hanks situation.
I know.
Where you're gonna have the volleyball Wilson.
I'm already talking to to the water bottle, my friend here. Just keep in touch with me.
All right, man. I'm going to check out. Good to speak to you.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Take care as well. Stay safe. All the rest of it. Cheers.
All the best.
As a lot of you guys know, as I've just said many times on my channel, anxiety is something that's really big for me, something I've talked about kind of on my channel now and again, but at times like this, it really comes to the front. My anxiety plays up. And something that's really helped me over the last few years is listening to music, relaxing music, watching really calming scenes. Like I listen and watch a lot of BBC nature documentaries with David Attenborough. It calms me down a lot. I also like to I don't like darkness, and I don't like quiet, and I don't like alone. A lot of people who have anxiety see the same thing, feel the same thing. So I've started a bit of a new channel, which is a bit of an experiment, right? I don't know where I'm going to take it, where I am going to put videos which are kind of calming, relaxing, and help people with anxiety to zone out while also feeling connected. And it's basically going to be scenes. It's really difficult to explain, actually, but it's called Chillness. And I've put a link down below to that, so if you want to go and check that out, if you are feeling anxious right now because of everything that's going on in the world, hopefully it will help you out. And we'll see where we take that. People are just getting on with things, right? We have to keep moving, we have to keep living. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to speak to you guys as always. Let's continue this discussion. I want your ideas for new videos down below. Please help me out with that, because I have struggled over the last few weeks, I'll be honest. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next episode, have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is wherever you are in the world. Take care.